Sorry about that. The mic wasn't on. It's great to be here. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion. Also, Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GST that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And today, our show, Top Global Startups, GST Presents, is going to be talking to Ahmed God. We're going to be talking about his company, Bloompath, and how we're going to go down through with Bloompath AI to make the world a little bit better place. And with that, I'd like to bring Ahmed aboard. Hi, Ahmed.
Hello, Gary. So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, how do you tell me a little bit about your brief journey from being a project management role at companies like Apple and WeWork? And by the way, how was it working at WeWork?
It was some of the craziest time of my life. I had an amazing experience, to be honest. They hired some brilliant people. The team was fantastic. The work environment was great. And then all of a sudden, things changed pretty dramatically. I think I gained some amazing experience and I got to meet amazing people. And then it led to another great journey. So I look back and it's a chapter I'm actually very proud of in my career. I learned a lot about how great things can get done and also how some things you probably need to do a little differently throughout the journey of a company. So I thought it was a great experience overall. We worked at the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco. Beautiful office,
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, I was asked to do a speaking engagement at the Salesforce Tower,
Yeah,
and it was over the top. It was
it's
just it's a
amazing.
beautiful place. So, how do you go from Apple and WeWork? By the way, how was it working for Apple? When were you there?
So I was there right after WeWork, and that was right around COVID time. So I commuted to the office for 2 or 3 weeks. Then COVID hit, and I stayed working from home for a little over 2 years after this. So again, like I'm very proud of the different companies that I've been at. I've been at big companies, as a software engineer, as a product person. I worked at Microsoft, Google, Amazon. We work in Apple, and then I worked on at a startup called Swift Connect. Apple was a fantastic place. Every one of these companies, honestly, I can look back at my experience and I feel very proud of what we're able to accomplish, all the learnings that I've done and all the contributions that we've had. Apple is it's a machine, right? So you work at Apple and you're part of that machine. It's amazing how the company comes at the October timeframe, and they rip everything apart. They are like, all right, iOS, rip it apart. We don't have an operating system for the phone, and we only have 10 months to rebuild it and make an amazing splash to the rest of the world. And they do it year over year over year. They're successful in doing it. And I think it's very remarkable. It's probably one of the very few companies in the world that still like completely rock the waterfall development model. It's not agile. They don't build and iterate. They build like a full-on software and they push it in a major splash. And that's kind of how they push software. So I thought it was a great experience. Throughout my journey, though, the one common theme is that I've always been working on products for developers. So I've always been working with developers, software developers in particular, as the primary customer for my products. So whether it's working on the cloud platform for Google or the developer platform for the Google Assistant or for the developer platform for Alexa or for the Apple Wallet platform that allows developers to have or add keys to Apple Wallet. So everything has been part of developers. Even in the startup Swift Connect was also a tool for developer. And then this is kind of what led to Bloompath, which is a tool for developers to increase their productivity, especially in the new world of AI.
So, what inspired you and Mohammed to start Bloompath?
So Mohammed and I knew each other for maybe 17 or 18 years. We met during college, and we've known each other since then. We both worked at Google, and we both just kept a very close relation. He's an engineer who is a very high endurance engineer, and by endurance I mean like he's the kind of engineer that likes hard problems. He likes to sit down and take something and really get deep into it, and he takes that even beyond engineering. So like outside of being a software engineer, is actually a triathlete. So he likes like hard, like difficult
Oh,
things.
that's hard.
Exactly. So that's kind of his approach. We both faced a lot of the problems that we're solving with BloomPath in our careers. First of all, ask any engineer in any company, like what you want your company to help you with. They'll tell you, I want to know, how can I become a better engineer by being part of that company? Like, how is the company helping me individually grow as an engineer? Now, ask any leader in the organization, what do you want your engineers to do? They'll be like, I want to make sure that they're working on the most important things all the time. So productivity is really what we care about. And for the longest time, it was very difficult to see how my individual work contributes to the project. You have to do a lot of manual tracking. You have to hire scrum masters, project managers here and there in order to get this taken care of. Mohammed and I saw this in various companies in various phases in our career. And when we were both at a time where we're ready personally and professionally to pursue that startup experience, we were like, this is a problem we're both interested in solving. It also really helps that Mohammed is a coach. So something that actually helps with coaching engineers or helping them grow their careers in the context of the company, or coach managers to understand how the work of their team contributes to the success of the projects that they're supposed to be managing, really appealed to him. So we both kind of met for a coffee just to catch up. We both were ready for the next thing. We both talked about the idea of BloomPath. That coffee walk ended up being a daily call, ended up being a company, and we're here now. So
Wow, that's amazing. And what kind of experience did you take away from Apple Pay and WeWork that influenced how you built BloomPath?
So I think it's a good question. So every company is a little different, and every one of these places that I've been part of, I feel like I learned something that I took with me. Um, Apple was really good at, like I said, rallying the company behind one goal. Like the entire, maybe like an org of like 20,000 plus people are working towards one iOS release. And that kind of grounds you, it doesn't matter whether you're in music, whether you're in um, fitness, whether you're in wallet, whether you're in messages, you're still working towards that one thing, getting the iOS release ready. And I think it's very inspiring, honestly. If we're building a tool that helps you kind of align the team towards the goal, or help them with the growth, to get that experience and understand what it takes to actually have a culture. In that case, obviously Apple also has a lot of resources, so they can hire maybe a handful of project managers for every one of these small projects to make sure that things are on track for that particular thing. A lot of the times, though, slightly smaller organizations, which is our kind of ideal customer profile for now, like scale ups, they don't have that resource, right? They basically have, they are not that small where everybody is sitting in the same conference room all day long, jamming or huddling together, but they're also not large enough to have a crew of project managers managing every project. So you end up in scenarios where that is very common, where the loudest person in the room gets their stuff done, and that is actually a recipe for disaster sometimes. Because as an engineer, you have your Jira where your project management is happening, you have your code, you have your emails, and angry customers emails you, and then someone messages you on Slack here and there. So all these different sources lead to a very difficult scenario when it comes to understanding where my priorities are, or what my tasks are, and what I need to work on next. So BloomPath, normalizes all this noise and then tells you, hey, like from all these different sources, these are the things you need to get done. And then this is the priority of these things. And here's what you've been doing contributes to where the company needs to go. So these are the projects that the company cares about. Here's what you've been doing across every one of these different projects. So definitely inspired by a lot of the processes that I've seen in the past. But again, like, in large organizations, a lot of time, the process is driven by people. But we're in a different world right now where you can actually take a lot of that manual or heavy in like manually intensive work and delegate it to AI or AI agents.
Could you describe your vision of the future of work and how BloomPath fits into that vision?
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of resources out there, a lot of people like Sam Altman or, Amjad from Replit who keep saying it over and over, right? Like there's going to be
Which company is he from?
Replit.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of times people will say it over and over that, the future of work is going to be a combination of people and agents getting a lot of the work done on behalf of the people. And Sam Altman and Amjad kind of took it one step even farther, said, you know what, there's going to be a bunch of billion-dollar companies that have one people and a bunch of agents working for them. So these agents will take care of a lot of the hard stuff, the heavy stuff, and that one person is going to focus on the strategy, getting the company to grow and kind of managing the organization. But it's going to be essentially one person managing a bunch of agents. There's actually a company, I forgot its name, that recently even added an agent that is a CEO. So
Oh,
they've got,
really?
yeah.
I haven't heard of that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I think what BloomPath does really well is that it tries to act as that operating system where whether your task is completed by you as an individual or with an agent, you can orchestrate it all within one platform. So because it integrates with the different tools that you're using,
Mhm.
you get to see, here's everything I need to do, and here's the priority of everything that I should be working on. And then, from these priorities, these three tasks, I can trigger a software development agent to do it. This one, I can trigger a marketing agent to do it. This one I need to do. This one I need to send to an agent that responds to a customer and so on. So obviously that is like a little farther in the future, but that's kind of how I see it. How I see kind of the future of work is a combination of people that are managing people and agents. And I think, the more we start to grow the different agents and do different things, the more that vision is going to become real. Nice.
What distinguishes BloomPath's AI-powered coaching from traditional mentoring or human-led coaching?
So funny you said that. So initially, actually, we started off as an attempt to become a coach. So we wanted to be like, hey, like there are tools like BetterUp, for example, that are really, really good at executive coaching or leadership coaching. Can we build an AI-based BetterUp that is for the individuals? Very quickly realized that the domain of HR is really brutal. So we really didn't want to get into that domain of HR. We wanted to be more on the productivity and kind of showing you how your work maps to where the organization needs to be. So this is kind of the foundation then of coaching, because, instead of me telling you, hey, like I'm going to listen with intent, I'm going to understand your problems, and then I'm going to try to guide you towards a solution. I'm just going to tell you, hey, like what you're working on helps the organization by that much. Every one of these tasks are the things that you need to be working on. I'm going to help you prioritize them. So go from the top of the list here. BloomPath is helping you with kind of the prioritization piece. And the more you chip from your list, the more you're going to help in that organization. And here's by how much. So it's a bit different in this case because it's less of, like a hands-on, like actual coaching. And it's more of like improving your productivity. The analogy we use actually is the Apple Watch. So can you have an Apple Watch that is sitting there, but for the workplace? So instead of, the great thing about the Apple Watch, obviously, is you don't have to worry about it. It works in the background and translates what you do to helpful insights. So can BloomPath act like that Apple Watch, like the little like personal coach that is with you in the workplace and helps you become more productive in your workplace. Does that make
Uh,
sense?
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, how does BloomPath personalize the recommendations to each individual's unique career goals and workplace context?
That's a good question. So the by how in this case I'm gonna like speak a little bit like on a technical level and on a product level as well, right? So on a product level to start, um, basically it's personalizing for every individual depending on your job title, your job description, your roles and responsibilities for the organization, the type of input that it reads. So BloomPath integrates with a lot of the different tools that individuals typically use in a workplace. So if you're an engineer, you're probably using Jira or ClickUp or Monday to track your projects. You're probably using GitHub to write your code. You're probably using Slack to interact with your team. You're probably using email, you're using calendar. So BloomPath integrates with every one of these tools and then takes all of that raw data and translate it into tasks and insights. So here's everything you need to do. Here's the priority. And then here's what you've been doing and here's how it contributes to the company goals. So on the personalization piece, because it knows you, it knows what you care about, it knows the type of data that's coming to you. So it can help guide the individual into the things they need to be doing. On the technical side as well, we kind of like, we have a corpus, and the corpus includes personal stuff. So basically my own data. It also includes company stuff. So this is, data that comes from GitHub or Jira or Notion. All of this lies in the company corpus. So not only do we know what I need to do, it also knows what the company cares about. So that prioritization aspect takes, what do I need to do to grow within the context of that organization, right? Like this organization, for example, cares about, these projects. So here's, when I tell you to prioritize your work, here's where the priority comes from. It comes because we know what a company actually cares about. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
in an AI world, in a generative AI world, is essentially, you have a like a RAG or like a corpus for every individual, and then a corpus for the entire organization. And then you're using that as context to help the individual know what they need to do next, and then they can know what they've been working on and how it contributes to the organization. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what kind of an impact have you observed with your early adopters and beta customers? What is it exactly? Do they say, "Whoa, this has changed this. My work is better here," or "My life is better here"? What exactly do you find?
So, in the world of like an organization, you can consider us a baby. We're only a few months old company. We're super young. We have a handful of we call them build partners. So not even beta customers. I think, I wish we can get to the beta version sooner. But we have a few build partners. I think we're kind of in an alpha mode right now. We're super early again. The feedback has been mostly we're still in the quality phase. So this is kind of the funny part about building AI applications, is that you can build an amazing demo in a month. To take that demo and turn it into a production product, you actually take a bit longer. And we're in that phase right now. We just wrapped up a release. We had a few conversations with our build partners about this release, and they are finally starting to actually see how to use it and how to rely on it on a daily basis. But this is kind of the data we're going to be working over the next few months to deliver. Is like the product market fit phase of the product in the company.
So, what do you think in terms of, in your opinion, how do companies balance between technology-driven coaching and human interaction and management career development?
I think there has to be a combination of both. I think a lot of people, like they start to worry a little bit about AI taking over their job, or getting intermediated by AI, and as a
Should they
result,
be worried though, Ahmed?
huh?
Should they be worried?
I think if people are worried that AI is going to take over their job, and as a result they're resisting the use of AI, then AI is going to take over their job. so, so I genuinely think that the best way to not get AI to take over your job is to fully embrace it and use it regularly in your job. So, a career coach that uses AI is going to take over the job of a career coach that does not use AI.
Yeah, because it gives us superpowers. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
people don't understand. I mean, you get superpowers, you're going to be so much more competitive than anybody in the market. You'll be 100 times better than anybody that's out there.
100%. So you see this across the board. Like you see a few engineers who, try to resist the use of tools like Cursor or Replit, or, they don't want to use AI for their work. And you just, if you ever have a good engineer that uses Cursor, that engineer is like 10 to 100x better and faster than an engineer who doesn't. So it's as simple. So yeah, if you're worried AI is going to take over your job, it's going to take over your job. Going back to your question, with coaching, I think a combination of the two is the right balance. So sometimes even like, as I'm in that journey of building Bloom Path and I'm like torn between two different decisions, I go over and either brainstorm with ChatGPT or I call one of our advisors, one of our mentors. So it really
What's
is a
better, your
combination.
mentors or ChatGPT?
um, in many cases, it's still the mentors. Actually, ChatGPT gives you like a framework to think, but good mentors actually help you a little bit more. In this case, the more personal piece is still a little better, especially for these situations. Yeah.
So we're coming up to the top of the show, and then we can speak afterwards, Ahmed. So I have some the quick fire questions. What advice would you give someone hesitant to use AI and managing their career growth?
Use AI. Absolutely use AI.
What book or resources greatly influenced you as an entrepreneur?
Can you repeat the first part of the
What
question?
book do you have any books that you've read that have influenced you as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I actually, more than books, I like podcasts a lot. So that podcast is pretty amazing that we're in right now. I also, between me and my son, we've been hooked on another podcast called How I Built This. So we're always like listening to these on different rides or different cars. So like a lot of like resources out there for building stuff and for just seeing like how hard it is, but how in many cases rewarding. Even if it's not rewarding on an upside, on a financial upside, it's still rewarding from an experience and as something you get to learn more from. So
And
uh,
you've seen our podcast before?
I did actually, yeah, I did.
That's
I did
cool. No,
follow it.
that's super. We're at 1.3 million views now, and it's growing like crazy. About 60 some thousand subscribers. So,
Yeah,
but it's because of content like yours.
I
Incredible companies doing incredible things. Um, so, what is the best career advice you've ever received from someone?
know. There's a lot for me to think about. The one that just popped straight in my head right now after you asked that question was I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a co-founder of a company called Density. His name is Andrew, and he told me that the best way to get something done is to just stay within the problem and just keep grinding at it for a long time. It's like a lot of us, I guess, and especially in that generation, we're like very used to like shorts, right? Like you scroll your phone and you watch like a 20-second video and you move on to the next thing, and we're very, very heavy on our context switching. In order to solve a problem, you actually need to stay with that problem for a longer time, and you need to try different things, and you fail a lot, and then eventually maybe you'll crack it, and maybe you'll be onto something. And when you hear the stories again of like a lot of entrepreneurs, it's really like they're just normal people that just stayed with the problem. They found a passion to that problem and they stayed with it, and they, whatever happens in their way, they just keep going, and then eventually they were able to crack that problem. So, solve a problem. It takes 2 years to gain 2 years of experience most of the time. So,
Yeah, but there's another side of it. One of the things we say is that, if you find people that are like Sherpas that can help you, that have been down through this, they can dramatically increase the probability of success. In fact, I founded GSD based on that intellectual capacity evenly spread, but opportunities are not. Even in the valley, it's hard because if you haven't done an IPO on NASDAQ or sold a company or built an AI company, it's hard to understand. And
100%.
so a lot of times the typical, many of the VCs are, 24 to 33, 34 years old. Most of them never built a company. They only about 10%, depends on the firm. But they're trying to tell you how to do it using financial models. It doesn't always work with financial models. It's different. You need the networking contacts, right? People help you. It's
100%.
amazing. So, Ahmed, thank you for sharing your thoughts and insight in your inspiring journey of Bloom Path.
Thank you.
It's clear the future of growth is bright and exciting. You've done a phenomenal job with it. And thanks to all my listeners for attending one more time. GSD presents Top Global Startups. If you like it, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for another exciting edition. Ahmed, if you want to stay online, we can talk a little bit afterwards. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves. And remember, many times you'll have people in front of you that tell you can't do it. Believe in your dreams because dreams come true and unleash your potential. Thanks, Ahmed.